Greetings. Today I want to just briefly discuss the idea of finding your therapeutic voice. Now, what I mean by that is how do you find that quality that you alone possess? And it's a little tricky because each of us are unique individuals and we each bring unique things to our therapeutic work. So I want to kind of throw something at you and just have you think on it. A lot of times when you talk to other therapists and they kind of ask you, what's special about you or what kind of therapist you are, you notice like the first thing that a lot of us will say is our theoretical orientation. Like I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist, or I'm a DBT, or Ericksonian strategic, whatever it is. We instantly put that up. And that's not our therapeutic voice. That's just a framework, a map we use. Uh, and I've said before in only, 100 other videos how theories and techniques all end up really working about the same. So it's not really the defining feature of therapy, and it's not really the defining feature of your therapy work. Even though I know that might be a big chunk of what you do, that's not why people come to you. And that's not why you work well with clients. So if we take the idea of your theoretical orientation and set it to the side, and they say, okay, what kind of therapist are you? Then a lot of times we say, well, we talk about the population we work with. I work with men who are overeaters, or women who are experiencing anxiety. All the little niches that all the great psychotherapy marketing gurus try to say you got to find your niche. But again, that's you were that person, you were that therapist before you found your niche. So let's take the niche, set it to the side. So then we'll talk about symptoms when someone asks us, what kind of therapist are you? And you go, well, I work with trauma, or I work with depression, or I work with, and again, that's not the fundamental thing that we are. So when we strip all those down, what do we have left? And that's just, for me, this is what's so tricky about defining a lot of times what works in therapy. I mean, we see certain common factors that work, but it's really about who's doing the therapy with the client, the person themselves. I'm reminded about a story by a professor I had one time who, Dr. Reynolds was his name. I can't remember his first name. Dr. Reynolds said that he tried really hard many years previously to when I met him to be a cognitive behavioral therapist, because that's what he had studied, that's what everyone was pushing, and it's the best, and all the jargon gets thrown around about the outcomes. And so he said, I tried really, really hard, but I realized that at heart I was more of a Rogerian. I didn't like to talk that much. I like to really just be present and just not direct people or challenge them, but to just kind of allow them to come forth. And he said it took me a long time to make peace with that, because I thought somehow I was, not doing all that I should. But when I think back to Dr. Reynolds' story, it's like he honored that part of himself, his therapeutic voice, which sounds like he didn't use a lot of voice. He was more of a person-centered. But that fit who he was as a person. It was authentic to him. I sometimes think that in addition to all the psychotherapist profiles you see on the internet when you're looking for one, and they have their theoretical orientation, the population, testimonials, maybe we should also have, I don't know, personality tests that we've completed, so people kind of get a sense of who we are, even though those are kind of flawed there. But it's this idea that there is more to us than all these other aspects. And when you're choosing a therapist, let's be honest, even if we aren't set on a type of therapy that they do, but we're set on the idea of actually getting help and connecting with someone, uh, it changes, who we go see. It's kind of like marriage. You don't really, or you shouldn't, get married to somebody just because someone else says they're great. They have to be able to work effectively with you and vice versa. So, what is your voice? Where is your voice? Are you someone who likes to be incredibly playful? Are you someone who likes to be like Dr. Reynolds, more reflective and sit back and just be present? Are you someone that's a little bit of a personality that you're willing to kind of mix it up and challenge somebody a little more than others will? Wherever that is, as long as it's coming from a place of who you are in that moment, that authentic part of you, that's all that really matters. It's kind of like great athletes. Some athletes, it doesn't matter what sport they're going to do, they're going to do exceptionally well at that sport. Now, they may excel in one particular sport, but if they're just an overall effective athlete, they can do lots of different things because the core of who they are is that athlete. So I guess not really an answer in this video, but more of a question. When you strip away all these other things, what is your therapeutic voice? And most importantly, are you honoring it? So just something to throw out and think about. And you got questions, comments, let me know. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for listening.